The day I found my VA medication in the garbage, I didn't even get mad. I just felt tired. You'd think I'd seen it all by now. But this one caught me off guard. Let me know where you're watching from. This happened right here in the US, in a quiet little HOA neighborhood where the lawns are trimmed and everyone waves at stop signs. I'd moved here just a few months back after downsizing. Single story house, wheelchair accessible. I'm a disabled vet, served 18 years. After 2 surgeries on my back and one on my hip, the doc said it was time to slow down. So I did. I wasn't looking for trouble. I just wanted somewhere peaceful, a place where my mail came on time and the garden didn't need a ladder. Everything was fine until a Tuesday. I was expecting medication. Nothing heavy, just VA prescribed nerve stabilizers. Normally they show up in a pale blue envelope like clockwork. But when I checked the mailbox that day, it was empty. No meds, no paperwork, no updates from the VA. At first I figured maybe the Postal Service missed us. It happens, so I gave it 24 hours. Next day, still nothing. That's when I started asking around. I spoke to Mr. Hall 2 doors down, retired teacher, nice guy. He said he saw a lady near my mailbox the day before. One of the HOA women, he thought. Might have been Karen, maybe not. Mrs. Nguyen across the street said she heard someone complaining last week about certain residents bringing down the tone of the neighborhood. I asked who said it. She just frowned. You didn't hear it from me. It didn't make sense at first. Why would someone take my mail? Then Friday came. I was wheeling myself past the community trash bins behind the clubhouse when I saw it. A torn, pale blue envelope sticking out of the edge of a bin. I pulled it out. My name was still on it. Inside, my medication blister pack, unopened. There were 2 other VA letters in the same pile, all addressed to me. That's when it hit me. Someone in this neighborhood didn't just throw out my mail. They wanted me to miss it. And whether they liked it or not, tampering with federal mail has consequences. I didn't tell anyone right away. I took the mail home, laid it out on my kitchen table, and just stared at it. Something about the way it was crumpled, like whoever tossed it didn't just throw it away. They enjoyed it. I wasn't mad. I was disappointed. I served overseas. I've been lied to by commanders, stitched up under diesel lights, and taught to keep a cool head when things go sideways. But this was worse because it was so petty, so personal. Someone in this neighborhood, a place I moved to for peace, thought I didn't deserve my own mail. And I was starting to get a good idea of who it was. Her name was Loretta Faulkner, but everyone called her Miss Faulkner like she was a school principal. She wasn't technically the HOA president, but she practically ran the place. Always wore that same pastel blazer, clipboard under one arm, lips puckered like she was constantly tasting vinegar. I'd seen her once or twice, usually glaring at me as I rolled down the sidewalk. She never said hello, never waved. The few times we passed each other, she'd clutch her little designer purse tighter and pretend to be too busy checking her garden to look at me. I once heard her telling someone near the community center that some people shouldn't move into HOA neighborhoods if they can't even mow their own lawns. That one stung. Still, I had no proof, so I stayed quiet. I emailed the HOA board, just to inform them, not accuse. Got a polite, canned reply, "We're sorry to hear about your concerns. Please report any future incidents directly to the post office." But then came the twist that sealed it. I went out early Saturday to check my mailbox, hadn't even had coffee yet, and found a sticky note taped inside. Yellow, written in a tight, angry script. Federal or not, this community has standards. We don't want your VA junk cluttering our boxes. Next time, get it delivered somewhere else. LF. That was it. No threats, just cold cruelty and a signature. I sat there for a moment, holding that note. Then I took a photo, and another. I made a few quiet calls, then I rolled back inside and brewed a fresh cup of coffee. Because what Loretta didn't know, messing with a veteran's mail, especially VA-issued medication, wasn't just rude. It was a federal offense. I didn't want drama, I wanted dignity. So I followed the law. First, I contacted the Postal Inspector's office, the federal agency that handles mail tampering. I forwarded photos of the crumpled medication envelopes, the sticky note with her initials, and even a short video from my doorbell cam showing her pausing near my box days earlier. They didn't laugh. They took it seriously. Next, I called the local VA coordinator, who confirmed that yes, the medication I'd been waiting on was a controlled substance, a mood stabilizer, part of a long-term prescription plan. That meant Loretta hadn't just trashed my mail, she'd interfered with federally issued medication, and that made this a felony. A few weeks later, I got a quiet knock at my door. This time, it wasn't Karen. It was a pair of postal inspectors in plain clothes, calm and professional. I handed them copies of everything, the photos, emails, even my previous HOA complaint. They nodded, thanked me, and left without a fuss. 3 days after that, Loretta was arrested on her front lawn, and not quietly either. It was broad daylight. A postal inspector, a local sheriff's deputy, and a female officer from the VA stood by, while Loretta stood barefoot in her driveway, still in her pink robe, yelling about neighborhood values and veteran drama. Her little Pomeranian barked from inside the house, while neighbors watched from across the street, stunned. She was charged with mail tampering, destruction of federal property, and obstruction of delivery of medical aid. Turns out they'd found more discarded VA envelopes in her trash, with her handwriting on the labels. The HOA board called an emergency meeting that night. They didn't even try to defend her. She was voted out permanently, banned from holding any position again. A month later, a new neighbor brought over cookies and said, "You handled that with class. Thank you for your service." I didn't say much, just smiled and nodded. I didn't move here looking for conflict. I just wanted quiet. But I've learned this. Bullies like Loretta rely on fear, on people staying silent. And when you meet them with calm truth and federal law, they fold like wet paper.